Hi, I'm Jeffrey. I'm a licensed therapist, and in today's video, I'll be going over the top 6 signs of a bad therapist. Your mental health is important, so if you're seeing a therapist or if you plan on seeing a therapist, it's important to recognize the different signs to know whether you are seeing a competent therapist. This is because you want a therapist that can help you improve your mental health and the quality of your life. The purpose of this video is to help you recognize the signs that you are seeing a bad therapist. So, what are the top 6 signs that you are seeing a bad therapist? Let's get into it. Number 1, they are constantly late. What is constantly late? They begin their sessions 5 or more minutes after the initial starting time. Don't get me wrong, sometimes life happens and a therapist will be running late. But if this is a constant issue and your therapist seems to be running late the majority of the time, that is not good. That is a red flag. This is a sign of a bad therapist because every minute in therapy matters. And constantly starting late is simply wasting someone's time and money. Number 2, they forget important details. No therapist has a perfect memory, and therapists will forget some details from session to session. But a sign of a bad therapist is if they constantly forget important details of your life. For example, imagine that you recently disclosed to your therapist that your father passed away, and in a later session, your therapist suggests to you that you do more activities with your father. This would be a clear sign of a bad therapist, especially if it happens frequently. Number 3, they lie about their credentials. This is very unethical and very difficult to catch. If a therapist advertises themselves as having a specific certificate, or if they mention that they're licensed, but they're not actually licensed to practice, this is a huge red flag. If this has happened to you, I highly recommend that you report this to the board, as it will help protect other people from getting scammed. Number 4, they constantly use non-evidence-based interventions. A good therapist will side on using evidence-based interventions that are backed by a lot of research. Some examples of different modalities that are backed by research include cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, exposure therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, and a few more. An example of a therapist using a non-evidence-based treatment would be a therapist who would use astrology to try to heal your depression. If a therapist is going to use an intervention that is not backed by research, it is important for them to tell you that it is not backed by research. So if you're planning on seeing a therapist, or if you are currently seeing a therapist, I highly recommend that you research these different modalities and evidence-based interventions. Number 5, your feelings are invalidated. Therapy is meant to be a safe space for you to be able to open up and be vulnerable. Opening up takes a lot of courage. So if you open up to your therapist and your therapist then judges you or invalidates how you're feeling, then you're seeing the wrong therapist. Number 6 and last on our list is not setting boundaries. A bad therapist will not set good boundaries. This could look like having an excessive amount of interaction with their clients outside of the therapy session. The therapist might ask their client to do a job for them, go to the movies with them, have dinner with them, or something along those lines. This is unethical for a few reasons. One is that it puts the client at risk of becoming codependent on their therapist. Secondly, confidentiality for the client is at risk. Thirdly, there could be a conflict of interest there. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And for more content like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and see you in the next one.